fuck this practice. It's like, it's so fucking inconvenient. You know why it's inconvenient? Because like I have no tolerance for shit anymore. It's like when things feel shit inside, it's not like, oh, well, the world's rubbish or that thing out there is rubbish. It's like, no, no. Like I know it's totally up to me now. Like I get to feel this way or not feel this way. So that's a bit annoying. So I've got a backlog of things that I've made many attempts at clearing, but somehow they keep coming back, and I don't think I've cleared them properly to the end. So don't know what to do about it. But also, it reminds me, Charlie, you talked about sometimes you just need like a clarity practice partner,
Mm.
because it's not
That's what
always
was
easy
coming
to
up
do
for me.
your own. Yeah.
My question was, did you clear these on your own or with a person? That was
On my own.
question. Yeah.
And like I got to the end and all the ticks, and I was like, that's better. It was lighter. It felt better, but clearly, like, didn't get all of it.
I'm really good at lying to myself when I'm on my
Are
own,
you?
and I'm really good at not catching myself when I'm on my own.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
When it's something that like is a bit juicy, if it's like, what do I want for dinner? And I'm sat in a pub, it's like no trouble. But when it's something that's, hurts more than choosing what to have for dinner.
Oh my God, honestly, this is hilarious because literally the first thing on my list is food. Like, this is my not easy topic.
Oh, sorry. Oh, that's just my easy topic. But okay, yeah, that's probably worth underlying that
My
everyone's got
hard
their
topic.
version of easy and not easy.
Like, literally working out what to have for dinner is one of the hardest things in my life right now, which is a blessing in life, obviously.
Sure. First world problems.
Yeah.
But if it hurts, it hurts.
Yeah.
There was something you said just then about, like, I've got this list and I've got no tolerance for bullshit anymore. And it kind of reminded me about what you said to me. I think it was this week or last week. I don't know. It's all a bit of a blur now, the last couple of years working with you, Charlie, I'll be honest. At some point you said this thing recently, where you were like, your emotions aren't there to be managed. Because I was like, oh, what do I do with this internal anger state? And you were like, your emotions aren't an internal state to be managed. They are you. And also then talking about how our emotions are our powers. And then I was like, fuck, I've got a lot of powers then. And that like shift from that, like really shifted for me of like, and then we got to the bottom of, being unemotional, being over emotional means I'm unreliable. That was a commitment I had running. And the shift from being annoyed at myself for being emotional to like, oh, there's something here, has just been really, really profound. Like one of the most profound things, because I used to add a layer of annoyance and frustration with myself on top of whatever I was already feeling. And so yeah, it just reminded me of that when you said, Inga, about I just don't have a tolerance for this anymore. I get to the bottom of it. It's like, oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that if you can talk about, your anger or your frustration or your anxiety or your sadness as something that's happening to you, then, you don't necessarily have a job. Your job is just to like manage it or accept it or do your best given that it's there. And
or get pissed off about it.
Yeah, but it's like your job's over here and then the emotions job is over there, not you, and sort of facing in the opposite direction, kind of facing at you. Whereas, so it's like, oh, I'm responsible for this 10% over here, which is like managing my response to this thing that's happening to me. But the 90%, the big power is coming from the outside. So it's like the emotion or the thing that's causing the emotion outside of me is responsible for like 90% of what's happening now. But like maybe 10% is within my control. You know, I can deal the 10% of like, should I go for a walk or should I have a bath, or like, you know, can I listen for like, you know, how to make more space with this or something like that. But yeah, if your starting point, Inga, is, oh, this is me, like this hurts because I'm doing something I don't need to do, then suddenly it's like, there's no one else to blame. You know, there's no one else I can pin this on. And so I can't kind of throw up my hands and just say like, oh, well, you know, like, you know, because there's relief in that, right? I mean, not much relief, but there's a bit of relief in just saying like, you know, life's hard. But like, if the answer is like, this hurts because I'm doing something I don't need to do,
we can change it. Then there's some agency and power versus like, it's happening to me and I've just got to suck it up. But
it's a pain, right? It's a pain to be confronted with the fact that this thing that's hurting right now, it's like, oh, that's me. That's my job. That's me. It's not something that's happening to me. It's something I'm doing, you know.
Isn't there some saying about with great power comes great responsibility? Isn't that like from a superhero film or something? Yeah,
Spider-Man.
It's that. It's like, okay, well, I am doing something I don't need to be doing and it's hurting and I'm going, ow, 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 ow. And like, I'm doing it. So I can keep doing it or I can make other choices. And that sometimes is annoying. Feels annoying.
Make other choices or listen to it, because make other choices seems like a
Do you want to have a go at one of them, Inga, or all of it?
Oh yeah.
Something.
Oh, do you know what? I'd love to have a go at the food one, seeing as we've got somebody for whom it is an easy topic in this conversation.
I was just thinking, Alex. I'd love to watch Charlie do this with Inga.
I think you should take it, Alex, as the.
Oh man. Okay.
Is it what you need though? Check.
It's so interesting. I have two needs that conflict, right? So I have a need to practice wherever I can, like a lot. And I have a need to watch Charlie do it because I learn so much watching him do it. And if it's what Charlie needs, I need to watch Charlie.
You need the opportunity to practice later as well.
Huh?
We can practice later as well. I got loads.
Yeah.
It's not what I need. So if it's going to happen, it'll be you doing it, Alex.
Okay. So
we can keep. Well, do you need to? Because if not, then we just carry on.
I need Inga to be able to get cleared, and if it's not what Charlie needs, and then I'm like, fuck it. All right then.
Yeah. So
it might be really quick.
Taking Inga through the practice when it comes to food. Is that what you need, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All right.
Can I do a clarifying thing? So
sure.
I think the bit I keep getting stuck on, and we'll come to it, is like, I think there's a principle I'm missing. If you see something like that, Charlie, jumping in or kind of going, this isn't, timing out or something.
She just
like that.
Invited double downing on her. How cool is that? She literally went on. No, I'm gonna.
Not enough. Right.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
I've got like multiple people knocking on my door trying to talk to me. I'm like, I'm on a podcast potentially. No, I can't come.
What have I just walked into?
You just invited in a lot. I need a pen. My pen's gone.
I was literally just going to pass you a pen, but that doesn't work.
Pass me a pen would be good. Hold on, I'll be back.
Do you want to say what you want to get clear on, Inga, or just like practice it while she's going getting a pen?
Do you know what's hilarious about where my pen was? It was up there on the like side chesty wardrobe thing, because yesterday I was sat at my desk and I was like, I need to fucking stand up. And so I went over there and stood up whilst doing my call rather than sitting here. And I left my pen over there.
Oh, nice.
It just
Good
reminds
listening.
me of like how cool listening is and like how weird I was like stood over there facing the wall. doing my call. It worked. My back hurt less because I listened.
Nice. Oh, nice. So food.
Food. When it comes to food, Inga, what are you doing?
Oh,
Do you want to just talk and I'll pick bits out, or would you like to list? How would you like to do it?
let me just talk for a bit because it feels. I don't even know where to start. Oh, feeling confused. Well, that's a beginning of it, I think. I'm conflicted. And yeah, even as I start to enter the space, I just want to cry. And the weird thing is, like, for most of my life, bar maybe the last 5 years, food has always been like a commodity thing it's just been like you just eat to not be hungry. It's never been a topic, it's never been a thing. I've never had like I've had more of a non-relationship with it. And in the last maybe 5-7 years, I got caught up in the whole like online courses on how to eat better and differently, and I got hooked with the whole, if you eat a certain way, you'll have more energy. And then I joined the community and spent 90 days on this like program where you just like one by one each week take something out of your diet. And then you come up like you end up with like a natural human diet where you don't have sugar and don't have grains, because we naturally didn't used to eat grains, and you don't have caffeine and you don't have alcohol and all of that. And you're just left with like what the cave people ate 10,000 years ago. And like, I felt great. Like weight dropped off me as a side effect, which wasn't the main point, but like I would wake up at 5 a.m. full of energy, be like, oh, this is how I want to live. This is great. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to live like this forever. I guess I made some kind of a commitment at that point. But that way of eating is fucking impossible. I found it impossible to maintain because there were so many rules, so many restrictions, so many things you can't have. And it was quite binary. Like if you had it even a little bit, it would stop working because you have to maintain the rules for it to work. Long story. But basically, if you give body a little bit of carbs, it starts to switch over into different modes and all of that. So you have to like not give it any. And the idea was that you cycle through different seasons. So, you know, you have a period of time when you eat one way and then you add a few bits and then you kind of cycle through. And I couldn't do it. So I guess there's a bit of I'm still stuck a little bit with some of those commitments. Like I still want to feel that way. I still want to eat clean and feel that I'm eating like super well for my body and feel super good about it and have all this energy. But then I kind of swung completely the other way. So I've had big life changes in the last couple of years, and I just went, fuck it. I'm just going to eat whatever I want, because maintaining extra set of rules was just too hard. And there was no joy in it anymore. So I'm just going to eat whatever feels joyful. So it was like 3 months where I mostly ate like bread-based products, which looked like pizza and burgers and kebabs. Like I never thought I'd eat kebabs, but I did. And then I was like, okay, now I'm into like making chocolate cake phase. So I'd have like chocolate cake for breakfast, because why not? Because, do whatever I like now. And of course, there was the side effect of like weight going on and clothes not fitting and me getting annoyed about that. And now I'm like, okay, so I got really excited about making my own clothes again. So I've joined a sewing course, like super psyched about it. I used to do it years ago and stopped. And I'm like making this pair of trousers out of like muslin just to like fit it and make sure that it works exactly how I want it to work. And the teacher's like, okay, so we're going to like fix the size and the kind of trousers you want. They're not really great for like changing sizes. So you got to like fix the size. And I got into my head, I'm like, right, I've got a week. I need them to be like, I need to fit into smaller ones. So like, what can I do in a week? I just want the trousers to be small. I don't want them to be the size that I am now. I need them to be smaller. So I was like, so this was like 2 days ago. Like, okay, right. I'm going to go back to that way of eating, that old way with all the rules. And in a week's time, I'm going to be able to have like a size down version of the trousers, because fucked if I spend like weeks crafting this beautiful pair of trousers and then return to my natural weight. And then they're too big and I'm annoyed. Anyway, I did that for a day and I got so fucked off with myself. Sorry, I'm not even sure if I can publish this with all the swearing.
Have you not heard my other podcasts?
But interestingly, I got so annoyed of a day of trying to eat healthy that yesterday I had 2 breakfasts, a cinnamon roll, a bacon bun, like another lunch, and then a massive dinner at 9 p.m, which made me sleep poorly. Like there's a part of me that just totally rebels against the rules now. And I cleared this the other day. I did like I was trying to be a dancer, so I was trying to do it in my head as I was walking. I did all the questions in my head, which probably not great because I don't remember the answers now. But the feeling was that what I want to do is I want to eat in a way that feels natural, but also like I don't want to be following rules. I want it to feel natural, but also like good and healthy. And again, I feel a bit tearful because naturally my body doesn't seem to want the good and healthy. It wants the cake and the bread and the heavy meat and all that. I don't want it. I want to want the salad and the beautiful, delicious, like light things. And then like there's another layer of preparing the food and wanting the food to be delicious, but not quite having probably not having the experience yet of knowing how to do that, and therefore just getting all a bit stroppy with myself and quite often just getting stuck. Like when it comes to choosing what to have for dinner, I'm like, oh, well, I could go and get the recipe book out and like pick something really lovely and look at the pictures. And even thinking about that, I just think, oh, it's too much work, because that means I have to go to the shops and I have to make a list and I have to come back. But opening the fridge and looking at what's in there, I get overwhelmed. So I don't do that. So there's hardly any, like my fridge isn't particularly well stocked either. So I just go round and round in circles and I end up like exhausting myself and eating basically like the same things that are not great. I'm currently into like Tesco's Cheerio phase. I can have that not 3 times a day, but at least twice a day, which I know is not great, but you know, it's easy. And I tell myself it's healthy if I have it with a handful of blueberries, but it's still not really food, is it? Well, not in my mind. Anyway, so that's kind of, I just go around and around in circles in my head. I guess the thing that I get, like I bump up against with, I guess with a practice in particular, like whenever I've come to that, I want to lose weight or I want to be a certain weight or I want to fit into a certain pair of trousers. And it's like, yeah, that's what I need. Yeah, it's what I want. It's what I demand. Maybe not the love, but it's like, yes, it's what I love if I can also eat in a way that feels great and I'm joyful and it feels natural. And the next day, like the whole body's just gone, fuck you, you're not doing that. Like I'm not going to be told what to do. I'm not going to. So the kind of eating what I want and being natural does not translate to the health outcomes that I think I want. So what the fuck am I doing? Oh.
you know, we were talking about sometimes it's good to do it with another person. Sometimes we can just do it really easily on our own. I don't know, Charlie, what you'd say about like how to know, but like hearing all of that, I'm like, oh man, like doing that on your own, that's big. Like, as you know, it's not a small thing what you're talking about. I think you've probably just spoken out loud what so many people deal with as well, like day to day. Like that, like what you've shared is so common. And maybe you don't know that. I know that this is common because of doing cookery. Like I used to teach people to cook.
Right.
And it's such a big thing. And people don't realise that lots of people deal with it. And that it's
I didn't. Yeah. And I guess it's the few friends that I've talked to about this, because I think there's quite a bit of like shame attached to it as well. It's like it's eating, it's the most natural thing in the world. Like we should be able to do it. And the few people I have spoken to are sort of my closest friends, and just so happens they've cooked since they were children, and it's like second nature to them, right?
Yeah.
And
so they don't get it.
Well, it's that they can kind of like they're kind of quite good at imagining what it might feel like, but I guess it just reinforces the idea that it's not normal in me, because well, they don't have it, and my husband doesn't have it, and these people don't have it, so
the reason that the ready meal market is so successful shows you how many people actually have it.
Oh, that's a point. Never thought of it like that.
And that's not the practice, just to be clear. That's like, you know.
And of course, like the number of like dieting books and healthy eating books and courses, and
Yeah. I pulled out a couple of things from what you said. It was about 3 pages of things that we could check if you'd like.
Obviously, I could do that in my head.
I'm sorry if I missed anything. I got as much as I could. I feel like it's probably a good place to start if you'd like to.
Oh my god, I'm so impressed. Have you got like let's try.
Should we just try and check all of these and see where we go?
Yeah. Go on, Charlie.
We said
I nearly asked you, like, Charlie, have you got anything to say at this point? And then I didn't, and then you went, so it was like, yeah, go, please.
Well, I have the feeling like there's probably 30 different things where one of them, is the cause of all the other things, right? One big commitment and then lots of small commitments. And on the one hand, what happens is, you can probably start with any of those 3 pages of things and it'll, get you up there. So on the one hand, it's like, maybe just start, go, let's see what happens.
And I want to know what you're going to say as another way of doing it, because actually now I'm realizing that me doing this is great, because now I'm getting Charlie's wisdom where it's needed, not trying to like watch Charlie and guess the bits that I'm missing.
It's about the scope, right? It's about what is Inga getting clear about. And at the beginning we said food, or you said food. Sorry, Inga. You said like the thing that we're pointing ourselves at, is food, and then we get this whole world of things, and it's kind of like, well, if you asked anyone, like with the days where we're doing health, a day on health, a day on money, a day on family relationships, a day on
life's work.
Life's work. It's like, you can fill a day with any of those, whoever you are. You could probably do a day a month on all of them forever and still have more stuff.
Yeah.
And so, of course, if you say like, how's food doing for you, we easily fill 3 pages. And so the bit that I was like, is just checking, like, the point of this is that Inga's hurting. The point is there's something that's hurting for you. And it might be that we could solve 99 of those things, like, oh, okay, I know what to eat in the morning. Oh, okay, I know like how to approach recipes or something like that. And you'd be like, but the thing that's hurting most, the biggest thing, the most like urgently, excruciatingly painful bit of it, we didn't get around to. So that's still there. And so what I was like itching for was like, what's the bit actually You know, is there a bit where it's not just food, but it's kind of like saying, you know, if the first question is like, what are you doing? Then it's like, I want to frame it as, when it comes to food, when you think of what is like most disruptive, what's hurting most excruciatingly or most urgently, when it comes to that, what are you doing? And I just wonder if that might point us at the most sort of ripe fullest place to start. So I don't know if you've got an answer to that or not, but just to say, and maybe give you a chance to ponder it for a second. One of the reasons for that is just like, yeah, it's good to work on what matters most. The second thing that's good is it means that Inga will have the most appetite to do the work. You know, if we're like, oh yeah, let's chat about meal delivery services. What are you doing when it comes to meal delivery services? You'd be like, sure. And then, you know, Inga's kind of humoring you and going along with the thing, when actually there's this other thing, just like, whereas if we say like, here's the thing that's hurting you the most, you want to solve that now? Then suddenly it's like, yes, give me that. You know, it means Inga's going to bring a lot more power as the person practicing than if we were doing something less important. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is like, it's kind of like saying, well, what like, where do you want to get to by the end of this bit of practice? And like, will you be happy if we get there? You know, it's that thing of like, even getting what you need, if you don't know what you want, it's not going to be satisfying, right? And so Alex, you might like ask every question in the right order. You might get her to something where she's like, yep, yes, all clear, no problems.
And feels like, better, but it's not it.
Yeah, she'll feel a bit better. You'll feel proud you've done the thing well. And then you say, oh, that must feel great, Inga. And she's like, no, still feel absolutely awful. Thanks, but like, whatever.
And that's exactly what I've been doing by myself, like clearing the little and going,
clear the unthreatening ones. You can spend days doing that, right? And it's like, who would voluntarily go for the end of level monster, you know? Who would voluntarily go like, oh, let me just pick the hurtiest bit and like put all of my attention directly towards the hurtiest bit and like talk about that out loud, you know, like it's perfectly reasonable for that not to be you know, the natural place to start. But then that's why it's the practice, you know, because you practice your way to finding the faith that it's okay to kind of go there first. But it's one of the reasons why it can be really helpful to work with someone else, because not only do we lie to ourselves really easily, you know, yeah, I think that's a yes, that's enough of a yes, but there is that other thing of choosing the thing that isn't the thing, you know, choosing the thing that's less threatening than the thing, and then investing yourself in that. But the point is, if you make the link between the starting point and the end point, it's that if you just said like, oh, here's a list of 10 things, you know, this one's really challenging, this one's not very challenging, which one do you want to choose? You might choose like, oh, give me sort of medium challenging or something like that. Then it's like, if you skip to the end, you imagine the end that you're getting to, it's like, oh, how would it feel if you get to the end, you've still got like the 4 most challenging things untouched? You're like, oh, I don't want that. And you're like, oh, how would it feel if you got to the end and you'd actually nailed the most challenging thing, you know, the thing that hurts the most? It's like, oh God, oh, really? Like, man, if that was possible, then yeah. It's like, well, it's only possible if we start there. It's only possible if that's what we're doing. You know, so it's like an invitation to you, Inga. The invitation is like, choose the thing that's actually gonna, you know, mean that at the end you're like, oh, it's all solved now. You know, choose that thing, go to that level. Like, why not point yourself? Why not recruit Alex to point herself at the knot that all the other knots are knotted to?
That's so good. I guess this is part of the art of being a clearer, right? Like helping each other find that the hardest thing.
And I was just going to say, and then you can carry on, because we can just keep giving Inga space to ponder what it might be, Alex. But I find it can help a really physical, to start from quite a physical place. So actually, so like, when you think about food and the topic of food being something that hurts, like just pay attention to where that hurt is. Like when you think about when it's the worst stuff when it comes to food, like where is that hurt? And you might be like, oh, it's in my tummy, or you might be like, oh, it's just above my heart, or you might be like, oh, it's tingling everywhere, blah blah blah, whatever it might be, or it's something like really pushing in this direction, or it's really like just stuck, or like I don't know. And, it's not that matters. It doesn't matter where it is or how it feels or anything like that, but it's like it gives you a hook, and so it's you can then sort of, your starting point can be like, oh yeah, when I think of the worst thing, even though I don't quite know what it is, I definitely feel it here, or like in my throat, like, oh God, I can't even speak about it or something. And it's like, okay, let's start from something that speaks to that. Let's start from there, and because then you can do the like, all right, if we were to talk about, salt content or something, what does that do to that? Or if we talk about social eating in a restaurant or something, and like there'll be one of those where that bit of you that is like, oh my God, I've been heard, like yes, let's work on that bit.
You so feel it, like you get a feedback mechanism. Is that what you mean? Like there's that bit that goes, oh yeah, that's it, that's me.
And it's the place that you can listen to when you're listening for like yeses and nos.
Right.
That just gives a little bit of extra focus. It's like a clue for which topic to pick.
Because I know sometimes we talked about listening to your belly, but it's not always your belly, is it? It can be different parts of you.
Yeah. Alex, were you going to say something? Did we move on?
Yeah, I can't remember, so it's not. It's gone.
Oh, in that case, I'll just add that it's not. Again, it's not sort of presenting it as magic or something. It's not saying, oh, it's the wisdom of the body that's through the chakras telling you a language. It's nothing like that. It's just like, what's happening with food is there's something that you're trying to do and not doing, that you need to do, or there's something that you don't need to do but you're trying to force yourself to do, and I mean in like really physical ways, like it's like if inside you just want to drop the call now and run to the shop and buy a Mars bar, like if actually that's what if actually inside you're preparing for that action, inside you're trying to do that, but another part of you saying don't do that, then it's like those physical, like trying to physically do two physical things at once. If you're trying to stay in your chair and run squats, like it's not a magic thing. It's a physical, literal posture, isn't it? Like if I said try and stand up and sit down at the same time, like you can be, you're like, oh, it hurts here, because my legs are trying to stand up, but my shoulders are pushing me down, and it's like, oh wow, what is the wonder of the magic? No, it's just like you're trying to use two different sets of muscles at the same time to do, two different things. And it's the same thing as like if you were trying to stay up and go to bed. It's like if you have these competing instructions in your mind, you'd be like kind of all bent out of shape, like, no, I'm sitting in the chair, it's fine. Your body's going like, no, let's lie down. and so that can show up as tension here and here, whatever, because you're sending competing instructions. And so it's just remembering that you're not listening for magic. You're not listening for the wisdom of the body to reveal it's the secrets of what the universe wants you to do or something like that. It's like, no, you're just checking in this moment. You are giving yourself two competing instructions when it comes to food, and you don't know what they are, so you can't check them. And so it's just check them. Just check what you need. Check which of those things. Check what you're doing. I'm trying to stay up and go to bed. I'm trying to sit in this chair and go to the shop. I'm trying to eat the Mars bar and not eat the Mars bar. Then see which of them you need.
Yeah.
And just the last thing, just to bring it back to what you said at the beginning, Alex, of this being a thing that lots and lots of people have, like, if the thing that you were struggling with was something completely unique to you, say you decided to make a miniature house in a cardboard box or something, and you were decorating the living room or something, you might just know no one has an opinion on this. No one's ever done this before. And so it's like, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? Like, there's no right way of doing this. It's fine, I mean, like, in a way, you're always going to have the pressures of like expectations and past commits and but there's a way in which it feels like, oh, I'm entirely making this up. No one has to say on it. Like if you're noodling a tune on a guitar or something, whether you press the top string or the bottom string, there's no autopilot. There's no like pre-written code of like it's correct to play the top string. So if I don't know how to play the guitar, who cares? But with food, there are so many rules. There's so much advice. There's so much culture. There's so many adverts. There's so many diet books, like you say. There's so many friends telling you about how their family did it already, or like what the right way to do it is, or apps telling you to do this and da da da. There's so much advice that, like, if you're not really, really vigilant, you end up just taking the advice without checking if it's what you need. You skip the step of checking if it's what you need. Someone says like, oh, you should cut down on sugar. Like, in a way, it's like, yeah, that's good advice, probably good advice for almost everyone for lots of reasons. And it's like, oh, but is it what I need now, today, this year? And if you skip that bit of checking, like, is it what I need now? Then it's, then you get yourself in this pickle. It's you just fall into doing something you don't need to do, and so then it hurts. And so just to say, I think that's maybe why food is one of those things where it almost requires a lot more vigilance than decorating an imaginary room in an imaginary playhouse. Because
I think it's the other thing about
it's so easy to take the advice. No, it's just so easy to take someone else's advice. Yeah,
because there's all of that, but then there's the other bit about food is, at least in my experience in my body, there's feedback. I get feedback,
which is unique.
Quickly. Is it?
Well, it's unique to you.
Unique
That's
to me.
the
right.
The thing that I'm getting here is that, like, lots and lots of people struggle with food. Like, it's such a brilliant example to talk about, right? So then, like what Charlie's saying, all this advice, so it's really easy to just go, oh, they get what I'm saying. They've heard my pain. They've got the same pain. They did this thing, so I'll go and do that thing. So you think you've done something different, but actually it's just more advice. And even if lots of us have shared experience of a thing, our unique answer is it's unique.
And I think that's where I get
it's the remembering to keep it unique.
And that's the bit where I'm like, I think that's where I'm creating some of this tension. So, like if I'm building the little house, I get the feedback immediately. Like I put the little thing in and I'm like, I don't like it, I take it out. Or I put the wallpaper up and I go, oh, that's garish, let me paint over it. Like the feedback is immediate. Whereas with food, some feedback is immediate, and some feedback I only learn in the nighttime when I can't sleep because I've had chocolate cake in the afternoon, which I did a couple of days ago. And some feedback is even more long-term, where it's like, oh, okay, now I can't quite walk up to the top of the stairs anymore because I'm like heavy or something.
Can I just throw in a trap here?
I was thinking there's a
Well, it's from the Principles, Alex Rees. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is, but one of the most recent ones, sort of mid to late 20s in them. This thing of might be 30 or 31. This thing of what I hear from you.
If you want where you want to be.
Yeah, it might be that. If you need chocolate cake and you check and you're like, yeah, that's what I need. And then at the nighttime, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have had the chocolate cake because now I can't sleep. Like, you've that's not the practice. It's saying it's what you needed at the time.
Right.
This is what
Then I go, I fucking didn't listen properly, or I got it wrong, or like I destroy all of it.
And so you're judging your past self and saying that you did a thing that was bad and wrong, and now you're being sort of punished. You're being punished by, you know, an objectively bad thing happening.
I'm just suffering because this is like really annoying thing that's happening now.
Right. And so can you follow that if you treat the present moment pain of suffering in the middle of the night as a punishment for having been wrong in the past, then it's just not the practice. The practice is to listen to the pain in that moment and check what you need. So it's like,
just realize
you're right or wrong.
Oh, I think we're back to what you were saying at the start of this call. In the middle of the night when I can't sleep, I'm treating it as an external thing. It's happening to me, like my blood sugar is something or other, and like I'm not doing this now. I did it 5 hours ago. This now I have no power over.
Right. Bingo.
Yeah.
And the hilarious thing is that in that moment, you might wake up and be like, "Oh God, I'm really suffering because of that chocolate cake." And the sort of like automatic response wants to kick in and say, "Oh, it's because you did a bad thing and now you're being punished by the external world. There's nothing you can do about it because it's too late and you're being punished because this is bad and you did a bad thing." That's kind of try to come in, and you're like, you know, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to do the practice. And you go like, given that I ate chocolate cake earlier and I'm awake in the middle of the night and it really hurts, now, what do I need? And the answer might be more chocolate cake.
You know, it very well might be like more chocolate cake and like do something productive now that you're awake.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, and you might just go like, "Oh, right, great. Is that what I need?" Yeah. Oh God, yeah, more chocolate. It turns out I'm in a, you know, being a chocolate cake fiend mode, and that I should just eat it morning, noon, and night. Is that what I need? Oh God, yes, totally. And then the pain goes, not because you've, you know, escaped punishment or you've done the correct blah 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 whatever. It's just because you're doing what's needed rather than not doing it.
Yeah.
And then keeping going with that. What I'm noticing coming up for me is anyone that works in eating disorders or addiction going, "What? You can't say that, Charlie." So I'm just going to say that out loud so that you can respond to that, because, like, you know, that's going to be a conversation, I would say.
Yeah,
so let's just deal with it now rather than, you know, because it's a really valid, like, it's a really valid point as well to say. I'm not mocking that someone would say that. It's just that we're so in the practice, we know that that's not a problem. People that aren't, who, if we do publish this bit and they hear this bit, might misunderstand. So I'd like, if it's all right, to speak into it, if you'd like to.
So, I mean, I'm talking about my experience. We're talking about what might help Inga. We're not giving rules on how to deal with eating disorders, because I, you know, no subject knowledge whatsoever. And so, like, there's like full humility there, right?
Yeah.
What we're listening to, you know, if what we're talking about is not food. We're not talking about food. We're talking about like what is happening when your body hurts, and is there a way to listen to your body? And I think the reason that we're all here and doing this is that, like, we found a thing where reliably it reveals what the, you know, the body is trying to say, you know, reveals what we're doing, such that that kind of stress, tension goes from being something that we suffer under to being a power that we use, you know, to it being a satisfying action that we can take. And you know, I don't only not know about eating disorders or anything. I also don't know anything about addiction, or, you know, in any academic or medical or qualified way at all. And so, like, there's sort of full humility there as well. But like, again, from sort of personal experience and from like practical professional experience of working with this with people.
Yeah.
And like, and even with us, Alex Louise, where, the stuff that we've worked on around addictions.
Yeah.
It's that thing where you choose a thing and it doesn't meet the need and you end up choosing it again, or it keeps creating the need. It's like it's where something promises to work and then doesn't work. That's the problem. That's the problem that we're tackling often with this. It's like there's this thing that promises to work and doesn't work. And I think before the practice, the best advice I heard about that was just like, I don't know, like I didn't hear a good answer for like, what do you do with the things that promise to help that don't help? And
or make it worse.
And so what?
Yeah.
And so what I find in the practice is an answer to that question of like, what do you do when something's promising to help but doesn't help?
Yeah.
You have to check again, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing to underline, is that it's not a check once, move along. I in the group the other day when someone put about, it was really nice to see Charlie practicing on the first podcast, and I was like, it's a practice. I use the Joe Rogan example of there's no done jujitsu. You're doing jujitsu or you're not. Clarity practice is the same, and it's maybe that's the thing to say. It's like there's no done. There's no I checked. Now I'm going to toddle off into my life and never check again.
And also, the answer is not going to be the same, right?
No,
because next time I'm awake in the middle of the night and I check, it might not be go and eat more chocolate cake.
Yeah,
it might be like throw the chocolate cake in the bin and whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a conversation I had, like I've shared the recording with both of you, but it's not a public one yet, where the conversation was, what do I do if I get to the end of the day and I just want to eat pizza and watch Netflix when I know that's not what I need? And it's kind of what we're talking about, right? Like sort of eating the wrong things because it feels right in the moment, but then later finding out it's not right. And there, the context that I gave was, in the moment where you get to the end of the day and you check, oh, what do I need now? And the answer is, I need pizza and Netflix. But if you say like, but just carrying on eating pizza and watching Netflix at the end of every day forever isn't what I need. What do I need? You say, oh, what I need is a sustainable way to deal with the overwhelm of the day that doesn't rely on food, right? And so then it's like, if you ask that question of like, what should I do instead of eating Netflix and watching pizza and eating Netflix?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Like, what do I need to do for the next 3 years instead of doing that? Then you come to this 3-year long answer, say, of like finding
and nothing to do with food at this point, probably, right? The 3-year long answer is probably about like work less,
right,
yada 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 yada. At which point you're way away from the food. So in the addiction sense, you're way away from the substance. But
the key is, when I'm asking on a Tuesday afternoon, like I've had a really stressful day, what do I need? And I ask myself, and the thought comes to mind, oh, Netflix and pizza. I go, is that what we need? Yes. What the yes means is, given that I don't have a sustainable long-term way of dealing with the stresses of the day when I get home, what do I need?
Yeah.
And so it's like, within that context where I don't have a better answer, the correct answer is Netflix and pizza.
Yeah.
But if I ask myself, it is a yes. And if I say,
in that moment, like today, like now, not forever.
Right. And so if I say eating pizza and Netflix tonight because I don't have a better strategy in place, is that what I need? Yes. Eating Netflix and watching pizza for the next thousand nights without trying to find any alternative thing, is that what I need? No. Oh God, no. And so it's funny because it's a technical thing, right? It's just about setting the scope.
Yeah.
Saying
so
like,
profound though, because then there's no beat up, make wrong guilt eating the Netflix and watching
Right.
pizza that
It's
night.
It's this thing where there's like wisdom and compassion in it. You know, there's the wisdom of saying like, yeah, long term, I need to find something. And there's the compassion of actually saying like, oh, I'm not a perfect person with all of the answers. You know, like when it comes to this, I'm a nightmare. Like I am a nightmare. So what do I do now? And so it's like, it's really checking what do I need, not because what does a generic human need? What's the, you know, there's a lot of it, isn't it, with the food Inga? It's like you read all the books and they say, well, the best thing for a human to do is to eat no grains because Neanderthals didn't. You're like, I don't care. Great, sure, that's what a human needs to do. What about an Inga on a Tuesday afternoon, you know, after a difficult
Given
meeting?
that,
Yeah.
Who really wants pasta?
Yeah, and so the answer might be eat pasta. But, you know, it's that thing where it's lack of rigor and discipline in the practice that makes it look like those are two conflicting answers. You know, it's like, oh, how can it feel like it's the right thing to have pizza now when I know that pizza's unhealthy? It's like,
I think this is exactly where I'm getting closer to the big thing. And it is that like having that long-term plan or commitment or however I want to call it, but not knowing how to do that. Because again, it seems like, I don't know, it's like, I never used to even own a pair of scales, and now I have scales and I step on them and I go, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, right. Well, obviously I need to come up with some plan that's going to make the needle move a certain way, but I don't know how to do that. Is it like there seem to be like extrinsic rules that like, I don't know how to listen my way to them because the feedback takes so long. It takes a week
when
or
you do it on
longer.
your own.
Well, even just what I mean in terms of like, okay, I'm like, okay, well, I want the needle to move by X amount to the left, right? I want the weight to be less. Right. So if I make choices today, that needle probably won't move for another week because it doesn't work that quickly. So I don't even know. Like I don't even know how to listen for how to do that. Yeah.
Did you check about having scales and making a needle move?
Yeah, on my own, I've gone round the like weighing a certain amount. Sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. So that changes. Yeah. But really, like the deepest thing here, what I wrote down as I was talking is like knowing how to live well in my body. And that's not just food. And I guess like the brackets, you know, working out what that means for me and not just trying out everyone else's rules, because some of it might work, some of it might not.
So when it comes to setting the scope, you know, we were talking before about, we can say the scope is food, you know, but that's a pretty blunt, you know, vague.
Vague, yeah.
If we said, the scope is actually you, was it knowing how to live well in your body in a way that's particular to you?
Yeah.
You said, yeah, not just about food. You said knowing how to live well in my body, not just food.
Yeah.
Like if, like imagine you're there, you know, imagine we spend some time now and we get clear on, you know, like, oh, but I don't know how. So it's like, if we add that as well, you know, this like living well in your body, not just food, and knowing how to do that long term in a way that works for you rather than just a sort of generic human. Like the hurt that brought you to saying like, I have a list of things, you know, let's do me this week. Like, where does that leave that hurt? Like, if you imagine having that.
Look back on my list. I'm not going to look back on my list. Like the original feeling was a big pressure here. And now when I feel into that, like I'm living well in my body and I know how, this isn't pushing anymore. But I've got tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
come up and out.
Yeah.
And it feels kind of vulnerable and a bit, but it's not pushing here. I think the bit that particularly hits is the knowing how. Like everyone else got issued with some kind of a user manual and I didn't get mine.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that like other people's rules, it's not a reliable way for me, or I guess for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, they conflict with each other. So there's not even a set. There's a lot in it. Like, yeah, that's way beyond. It's food, it's movement, it's rest, it's just how energy feels in my body, what scares me within the bounds of my body, when things turn around and I don't like it, and all of that. There's so much in it.
I think this might be a good place for us to stop, which is that we've found our way to a good place to start. That if you sit down, Inga, by yourself with a pen and paper and say like food, and then just try and clear something, then might work, might not. But if you spend the day with Alex and you arrive not with just food as a topic, but where the topic is, the thing that hurts is I want to live well in my body, not just when it comes to food. And I need to know how to do that in a way that's going to work long term, not just generically for a human, but for me in particular. Like, then you just stand a better chance of listening to the bit of hurt that genuinely needs listening to. And then, stopping, like ignoring, neglecting, whatever the right word is, the bit of you that's trying to do the thing that's needed. And stopping doing the things that aren't helpful or needed, but someone said would be a good idea at some point.
And then beating myself up when it's not working and piling it on top.
And I think it's just worth reiterating, like, again, with the with the Netflix and pizza kind of comparison, is you can easily fall into feeling like, oh, I should be able to do this. I should be able to just sit down, ask the questions, get to an answer. And it's like, yeah, technically it's entirely correct and possible that you can sit down and do that. The question is like, might it be easier if you have another person? Might it be easier if one of you is doing the job of listening and one of you is doing the job of writing it down? And like with you and me working together, Alex Louise, like there's so much even just this week where it's like, oh, you mean I do this half of the job and you do the other half of the job? And then that means there's two different people doing those two halves. It's like, I was trying to think of a good comparison, but it's like if I was like, the two jobs I need to do are fly the warplane and shoot the gun at the back. It's like I can technically try and tell myself that that's a job I should be able to do by myself. It's like the one-man band approach. It's like you can play a harmonica and a guitar and the cymbals and put little bells on your feet, but it's like the effect is not quite the same as having like a full orchestra.
It's like, yeah, how it comes up for me is it's like trying to do maths whilst trying to be creative, because the question asker and the space holder or the clearer or who, like the person asking the questions is being very mathematical. It's very like not feeling anything particularly, although might be listening for nuances in the voice, but it's very, there are questions, there's an order. You said before, Charlie, it's like bringing the person back to the meditation, which is very like practical and mathematical. And the person who's speaking is in this world of like emotion and layers and what happened to them maybe when they were a kid and possibly worrying about what might happen tomorrow, and is in this just what feels to me when I'm speaking, not asking the questions, it's like this wild place where I'm just like, fuck, and I'm feeling all these things and there's all this stuff going on. It's almost like left brain, right brain. Like you can't be in your left brain and your right brain at the same time. It's really hard.
Yeah.
But we kind of are in our left brain and our right brain all the time, because they're always there and working, but it's really hard to, if you're like super creative, to be like, now you must do straight lines and maths, or the other way. It's something like that for me, of it feels like a completely different space, and trying to be in those spaces at the same time is really confusing. Like when I ask the questions to myself, it's like
Yeah. I mean, surely, Charlie, you've been doing this for like more than 15 years. You don't need anyone else to practice with, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, that's the thing. I totally concur with what you're saying, Alex, of it being quite different skills. And, and I think as well, like the more that you practice, the kind of softer and more organic and more natural the question asking feels. Because like practice, like practice, if you're practicing tennis or something, is very, very kind of rigid and mechanical. And then over time, or like dancing, someone practicing a dance, it's very like, oh God, what do I do next? But then if you watch them when they're just freely dancing, like all the structure is in them, the structure is there. And so the structure can hold the thing. And so it means that like, more often now, I don't need to have someone else there. I'm just like, pum, 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 and the structure does the work, but the structure is kind of in me. But sometimes I'm like, oh, how much of me is it going to require for me to listen to this and not die? And the answer is like, oh, absolutely all of me. And I need someone to like hold my hand and like, keep the world at bay and make sure the door is locked and, be ready to get the fire extinguisher out and, all the things. And it's like, there's no shame in that, obviously. There's no, it's not about skill level or something like that. It's
about how big the thing is.
Often,
if you use the dancer analogy, right? So you've got a professional dancer who can probably pick up new dances quite easily. But if you give a professional dancer a really fucking complicated dance that's completely counter to all of their other dances they've done, it's going to be clunky again and difficult.
Yeah.
So it depends on the content of what we're asking about, I guess.
And also just like how tired I am. There might be things that would otherwise be easy, and actually I'm just like, I haven't got it in me. I'm just going to call one of you guys, and you can do the hard work, while I do the hard work.
And I think still the big thing here is as well that where we started with the other person can probably help point to the bigger thing, because I think one of the things I'm really good at is like seeing the little thing and then like spending ages clearing that and going, well, that's a bit better. And I somehow I haven't practiced enough to be able to see the biggest thing yet. I think that's, when I have a conversation with either of you, there's a lot of swearing that happens because like you somehow help me see the bigger thing. I'm like, I'm not actually clearing what am I going to get from Sainsbury's. I'm clearing how to live in my body, like in a way that works for me. Shit. Oh, can I just go and do it by myself again? I'll just do my shopping list.
Yeah.
That's the gift of the listener, though, right? I remember, Charlie, in the workshop that you did here, and you said about listening like a mountain or listening like a hunter. And you were sharing about like you can listen like a mountain and be like there, say nothing, or you can listen like a hunter and be like, oh, I don't think that yes was quite a yes, or that no seemed a bit shaky to me. And there's a gift there in the person that is doing the structure and the listening, being able to see that point where we're lying to ourselves, or we'd like skip round it, but it's we cut, like the person listening is like, oh, I don't believe that. And having people in the community practice who are relatively new to the practice, that's one place where they're like, we know when someone's off. We know when, you know, it doesn't, that bit actually is, we know when someone's lying, or we know when someone's not quite saying what they mean. And that's
100%.
the gift of the listener. That we can't do that for ourselves.
When I started doing this, it's like group work, you know, years and years ago, it was one of the things that was a genuine surprise. Was like, oh, genuinely, everybody knows.
Yeah.
You know, like, like, you know, like you can have someone sitting at the front and say, "Is that what you need?" And they go, "Yeah."
And the whole room goes.
Right, exactly. I could even be thinking like, "Oh yeah, I guess that's a pass," because I'm busy doing the question asking. But the rest of the room, if their job is only lie detector, like can be the subtlest little bit of tension, bit of tension, and you have like 25 hands go up, just like, no, I don't believe it, right? And I think it's because, like I've said this before about like yeses and nos, that yes actually means an absence of tension. Like that's what the word yes means. You know, you say, "Do you want to go to the shops?" Like, oh yeah. You know, it's like, it means absence of tension. I have no resistance to the thing you're suggesting. And the sound of I have no resistance to what you're suggesting is yeah. Oh yeah, you know, great. Yeah. And no means presence of tension. You know, there is some resistance to what you're saying. Do you want to go to the shop? You know, it's like, there's a bit of me that's trying to say something that isn't what you're suggesting. You know, it's like, what you said isn't what I need. And so when someone says, yes, like you hear the tension. And so the fact that you said the word yes instead of the word no doesn't matter at all. You know, it could almost just be like, answer the question just by going like, wah, you know, just make a sound, right? And if the sound is like, wah, you'd be like, okay, fine. And it sounds like, you're like, oh, there's tension there. And so that's what we're actually listening for. And I was just thinking, you know, people do work with horses, like therapy with equine therapy. It's based on this idea that because horses they don't have very good defensive attributes. You know, they're not like a stegosaurus or something.
They're prey animals. They're not predators.
Right. They're prey, and so the way they stay alive is being very, very attuned to tension. So that if there's someone, you know, 600 meters away who's a bit like, I'm going to shoot you, they're like, oh god, something's happening. You know, like they're very tuned to noticing tension. And so, you know, I did a day of the equine therapy thing. And one of the things you learn is like, oh yeah, if you genuinely are just like, oh, hi horsey, you know, and like you have nothing in you, you just walk straight up to them and they're like, oh,
and they'll stay still. Yeah.
You know, yeah, fine. Whereas if you're like, oh god, a horse, the horse is like, oh no, you get away from me. The realization was like, oh, it's not just horses. You know, there must just be a lot. It must be a very useful skill that we have to notice whether there's tension in someone's voice. And so what I found is that if you do a workshop with a big group of people or something, everybody can hear it. Everybody knows. But like, are they too polite to say it sometimes? Like, do they want to move things on? Does it feel like they're being helpful if they say, oh well, I guess it's, you know, no, I think that was a yes. Like, so like they get in the way of their sort of innate skill for it. And so I think one of the reasons why it helps to have another person rather than just doing it by yourself is because the other person doesn't have a vested interest in saying like, oh yeah, it's probably yes, you know, yes, Inga, well done, Inga, you know, like, yes, I'm sure that's a good enough. Let's
it's the opposite. They have a vested interest in getting you to be clear, so they're like moving it along does the opposite.
But that competes with the just sort of human urge of not wanting to cause someone else pain, you know, wanting to poke them, and so letting them off the hook and being like, oh yeah, sure, let's, you know, like, and so I think the reason why sometimes it's okay to do it by yourself. Sometimes it's okay just to get any random human to ask you the questions.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to find someone who is so committed to getting you clear that they will like short circuit their own wish to like not cause you pain or not to be
not feel any
annoying,
discomfort or yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And who's not going to be polite,
Mm.
you know, and who is going to say, I'm not sure that's a yes. Like, can we just check it again? Alrighty, guys.
So good.
Thank you, Inga. Thank you for bringing something real.
My pleasure.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
And it sounds like we're spending a day together from what Charlie slipped in there.
I'm gonna chat to you separately about your community day. I know, like, I'm hundreds of miles away, but I'm starting to feel a bit of a pull.
Come play.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Should we leave it there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you both.
Thank you both.
So good.
Big love.
See you soon. Love you guys.